Park Creek over Two Medicine Pass to Two Medicine Lake is kind of a tale of two journeys. I walked from the Walton side going up Park Creek, and you know, honestly, Park Creek is kind of, if you like solitude, you're really gonna like Park Creek, just because it's just this, it's just a trail where you walk in trees for a really long time, and you don't really walk next to the creek per se. You spend a lot of time just inland from it, and it's, you know, gentle up and down for miles and miles. I think it's like 7 or 8 miles until you get to Lower Park Creek, and in there's kind of a meadowed out area, and there's a patrol cabin there, and you know, seems like a pretty nice spot to camp. And then you spend the next like 7 really long miles after you've done 7 miles. If you break it up into 2 days, it probably doesn't feel as long, and you know, looking at wildflowers and some birds. But like I said, a lot of tree walking. The second 7 miles, though, the nice thing about it is it does start to open up, and you can see some peaks like Church Butte on your left as you get closer to Upper Park Creek Campground. And yeah, when you get to, you know, you see some really nice avalanche chutes and a few things like that. So, you know, that's pretty sweet. But yeah, once I got to Park Creek, that was that's kind of when everything sort of changed. Upper Park Creek Campground receives a little bit more people walking, and that's because people primarily come over Two Medicine Pass. Also, I went over to Lake Isabel, and that's where I camped, and that was really fantastic. It's a really cool lake. It's all been burned out in there, so it's really open, and sometimes that's a bad thing, but in this case it was fantastic because you ended up with a lot of just these big cathedral walls surrounding this lake. There's also another lake above it, so a couple of guys there from Minnesota were fishing it, and the fishing was fantastic with cutthroats and bull trout both in there. And really a special treat was in the evening we had a moose. When it was dark, we were just sitting around visiting and had this moose drop into the water, and we're bummed that we didn't get to see it. But alas, the next morning the moose did the same thing and took a swim in the morning and was eating, and it was just super fantastic. And just to watch him swim underneath the water and eat and splash around, and watching him shake his antlers. And I don't know if you've ever picked up moose antlers, but they're not heavy, and it's just amazing to watch them just throw those around like it doesn't weigh anything. So anyways, I'm just talking a little bit long so you can see as much moose footage as possible. But anyway, yeah, so that was great. And then you know, the next morning woke up and did the really long slog. It's about 4 miles of uphill. The first couple miles were really steep, and then you start to get to the switchbacks and the grade seems to improve. But then, you know, you end up at Two Medicine Pass. Now, if you approach it from the other side, you know, you walk along Two Medicine Lake, and you work your way up towards Cobalt Lake, and working your way up from there, if you definitely stop at Rockwell Falls. Well, you kind of walk right past it anyway, but Rockwell Falls, really pretty, a great waterfall. I took some really fun stills of it that I'll post on, you know, on my blog and my website and Facebook and stuff. But that one was really, but Rockwell Falls, super pretty. And then, you know, you go up to Cobalt Lake, and Cobalt Lake, there was still snow on it, and this year, like we've talked about before, is, man, there's still snow on the trail, and there's still snow at the lake, but it definitely is going fast. And but yeah, you know, and as you descend up there, you know, getting closer to Two Medicine Pass, it's just, the views are just fantastic. And so, you know, here's where my story merges with the previous one. So this is a little bit long, but trust me, it's all worth it. Yeah, but as you get up there, you actually go over a summit. So if you've never summited a peak and you walk along this trail, as long as you stay on the trail, you can go ahead and say that I have summited a peak in the park called Chief Lodgepole. And yeah, from Chief Lodgepole, you can see down the ridge to Painted Teepee, and to the left you have Rockwell Peak. And little interesting story, Rockwell Peak was originally named Rising Bull by the Blackfeet people. And he was a Blackfoot chief who was married a Flathead Indian and lived with them for some time. And so he was a Blackfeet chief, and then he got promoted to a Flathead chief. So he was chief of 2 different nations. So that's kind of fun. And so anyways, now it's called Mount Rockwell. And it's a little bonus tip for the kids. But yeah, so up there, there's a lot of sheep. And so that was really fun to go ahead and see. There was a big herd of ewes, female sheep, and then there was, you know, about 6 or so rams, and looking all kinds of awesome. So anyways, you know, just fantastic views looking in there. You know, my recommendation, you know, if you like solitude and a treed thing, go ahead and hike up Park Creek. But honestly, if you want a really cool, like 2 or 3 day trip, I would recommend starting at Two Medicine, hiking over Two Medicine Pass, and camping at Lake Isabel, because it's fantastic. You know, Park Creek, Upper Park Creek Campground's a really great place to go to. And yeah, then hike back out. Definitely a lot of vertical involved in that. You know, Two Medicine Pass is, you know, you're gonna be walking uphill. But yeah, I mean, Cobalt Lake is pretty, you know, you just got a lot of really great things, and a really good chance to see some animals like I did. But I think with Lake Isabel, if you want to see that moose or a lot of animals like that, you know, it's kind of more of a morning deal. So anyways, yeah, that's kind of the review. Like I said, it's a tale of 2 trips really. You have Park Creek section, and then you have the Two Medicine Pass. So yeah, go ahead and check out what you need to, and I hope you enjoyed this vlog. It was a very tough and long, but very rewarding overnighter for me. So that's my story.